Hi everyone, Father Lamb here, and it's Wednesday again, Wednesday, August 14th. And I just want to mention that we will be in the gym an extra weekend as things are turning out. So this weekend is the 17th and 18th, we'll be in the gym, and the following weekend, the 24th and 25th of August, we'll be in the gym again for the last time. So on August 31st and September 1st, we'll be in the church with everything looking good. We have to do a deep cleaning after all this is over, because when you're, spackling and scraping, dust goes everywhere. So we have a deep cleaning of the church on the 26th and 27th of August, and then we'll bring everything back in. So keep praying. It seems that things are coming along, thank God. Well, today is actually the feast day of Saint Maximilian Kolbe, and he is a very, very powerful saint. And you may know some things about his life. Most people know that he was a Franciscan friar. He died in Auschwitz back in 1941. Actually on this date, August 14th. So 83 years ago today, he died. Maximilian Kolbe was quite a guy. He was a very small man. He wasn't tall, but he was mighty. He had a tremendous devotion to Mary, the Mother of God. But he was sent to Auschwitz in February of 1941, and basically that became like his parish. He would just try to minister to people, trying to bring hope to the men that were in the concentration camp there. But the big story there was that one of the prisoners tried to escape. And whenever they did that, the commandant would have all the men come out into the courtyard, and they would pick out 10 men to die, because one man tried to escape, 10 people were going to die, just to instill fear. It's awful stuff. So as they brought 10 men up randomly, this one man started to really lament and cry, like, no, I have a wife, I have children, and Maximilian Kolbe, this little tiny man, comes walking out of the crowd, and he goes right up to the commandant. I saw a beautiful painting of this at one time, where he's just standing before this commandant, and the commandant's looking at him like, what? Because Maximilian Kolbe offered his life in exchange for that man. And for whatever reason, the commandant allowed it. So Maximilian Kolbe was sent to die, and this man was free. And the man's name is Franciszek Ganauszek, if I'm saying that correctly. And he ended up living to be like 93 years old. And his story, that's a whole nother story, where he became a lay missionary and spent his whole life dedicated to sort of telling the story of Maximilian Kolbe. How cool is that? So Maximilian Kolbe was thrown in the bunker with these other men, and they basically were left to starve. And after a week or two, most of them were dead, and Maximilian Kolbe was still alive, singing songs, praying with the men, trying to give hope to the men. And they finally injected him with carbolic acid or something to kill him. And that's one reason why Maximilian Kolbe is a patron saint of addicts. So if you know somebody who's struggling with an addiction, go to St. Maximilian Kolbe, very powerful saint for helping people with addictions. Like I said, he had a tremendous devotion to Mary, which is very appropriate that he died on August 14th, the eve of the Assumption, because he really loved Mary, the Mother of God, and she really gave him grace and strength throughout his priesthood, I guess the one thing I like to just focus on in his beautiful story is the fact that what Jesus said in John's Gospel. Jesus said, there's no greater love than this, to lay down one's life for one's friend. Maximilian laid down his life for a stranger. And when Maximilian Kolbe was a little boy, he had a little vision of Mary, and she offered him 2 crowns, a white one and a red one. And the white was one for chastity, and the red one was for martyrdom. And she offered them, told him to pick, and he chose both. And Maximilian Kolbe lived both those lives. He lived a life of chastity, and he also lived a life then ending in martyrdom. Very, very powerful saint. One of the things that I think is important for all of us in dealing with any saints is to see their humanness. I think sometimes we put them up on a pedestal and make them like these perfect people. And most of the saints weren't perfect. The only perfect saint was Mary. The rest of them had their own sins and struggles, shortcomings and weaknesses. And the point with that would be that all of us are called to sanctity, the universal call to holiness. So as you and I see the life of St. Maximilian Kolbe, it should instill in us a grace and a desire to be better people. He was a light shining in the darkness in a concentration camp. And our world sometimes is very dark too. And we can just get into that darkness and all sit on the sideline of how screwed up and chaotic this life is, and how screwed up our country is and the world is. But we need to be a light. And that's what God's calling us to, that a deeper sanctity. We're not called to be perfect. See, we're called to be faithful. We're called, when the times that we fall and we sin and we struggle, we keep turning back to God over and over again for his grace, so that we continue to grow and grow in his love and rely on his grace, his mercy, and his forgiveness. So maybe today or this week, we just might see the influence that we can have by living a holier life. Not like holier than thou, I'm better than you, I'm on a pedestal. No, by living a good life, we instill grace in others. And Maximilian Kolbe, in his life and death, inspired that man, Franciszek, to live a good life. And he went on to live to be 93, dedicating his life to spreading the word about Maximilian Kolbe and what that man did for him. So here's the life of Maximilian influencing another person, and this guy going out and influencing and more people, going around giving talks about Maximilian. And you and I could do the same thing. We need to find saints that we can talk about. I think saints instill in us, like they inspire us. And we need to see the lives of saints and hear the lives of the saints. If you want to go on Formed, if you haven't done that, we have that in the parish, Formed on the internet, where you can just watch a lot of movies about the saints, and it's very, very inspiring. What saints have made an influence on your life? Who are the go-to saints that you go to in times of struggle, in times of troubles, or whatever you're going through? That's what God's calling us to. And as we go to the saints so they inspire us, we too are called to be saints. God bless you.